So before I actually get into my talk, I'm going to invite Sue. Do you want to come now? Because Sue just walked over to me and shared a word that matches a word that we had in our launchpad as well this morning. So and I think it frames today quite well. So, sorry.
Honestly, I thought when I gave the last word, that was it. I felt very sick, and really it was, and I thought that. And then this morning, I woke up and I had a light bulb moment. So the light bulb moment happened because last night I went to a prayer meeting in the town hall in Llangefni, and I honestly didn't want to go. I don't like being out at night, and I've always got an excuse why I don't go out. But I couldn't refuse because somebody came and collected me. And I didn't want to go because I haven't actually been in the town hall since it was redone, and that was quite a long time ago. So anyway, I walked in and I thought, I'm not going to know anybody. I used to know a lot of people, but, time's gone by and, I'm going to feel really strange. And then the first person I saw when I walked in was James. And then there were people all over from going back a long time who made me feel so welcome. And so this morning I was sort of talking to God about it and saying it was absolutely great and everything. And I just had this kind of into my mind, for goodness knows what reason, a bit like the last word I had. I saw my electricity bill. Now that had I know that I have got a slight butterfly mind and, all the rest of it, but an electricity bill in the middle of my prayer time was not what I was expecting. But actually it was quite nice because Octopus, who I'm with, had remembered that they owed me some money, and I thought, well, that's really nice of them. And then I remembered at the bottom of all Octopus bills and things, it says, more love, more power. And the light bulb moment was there because that is absolutely right, because that's what I'd felt. And I think that power, we're in M-Spark, aren't we? And when you switch the light on, my goodness me, the dark has to flee. There are no shadows. And so we call the Lighthouse Church. And so I just think that we've got to switch the light on this morning, haven't we?
It's good. Just wanted Sue to share that because as well in Launchpad, Phil brought this word around. So the lights around the outside, I don't know if you remember from the Christingle gathering where they kept on coming on because they're motion sensors. And Phil kind of shared this word of like, as we move, the lights come on. And I just wanted to share those two things, more love, more power, and as we move, the light comes on, because today we're going through the third part of our vision series of Loving Anglesey. And I think that just frames it. I could probably stop there and not say anything else, but actually, yeah, is that all right? Shall I do that? All right. But there is something about that will come through today of as we move in more love and more power, as we move in the Holy Spirit and the love filled from Father God sends us into action, as we move, the lights will come on, and that is what we will see change through. But we'll come back to that later, I'm sure. So yes, bwriadu. My name's Alan. I co-lead Capel here with Rachel, who's out on Ignite Kids Church today. It's great to see you all this morning. And as I say, we're on week 3 of our vision series as we spend time through January looking at our mission statement and unpacking a bit more of what we think is ahead for us this year in 2025. Because we as a church have, as Delan shared, grown quite a lot in the last year, which is great. Lots of new faces, lots of new people, lots of new skills and giftings and passions. And of course, that means that we're all coming in with different things, different skills, different passions, different approaches. And we're all trying to work out what Capel looks like. Instead of having 40 people that know each other really well because we've been together for so long, it's now a church of 80, 90, where actually I look out and the last few weeks it's kind of like, I actually don't know quite a few names here, which is odd. And I'm sure that other people could look out and go, wow, I don't actually know everyone's name. And by the end of today, no offense, but I won't know everybody's name by the end of today. So we're growing, and of course we have our welcome meals, which happen, we do 3 or 4 a year of these welcome meals, which is an opportunity for new people to come and hear about Capel Gweledigaeth, to meet with the leadership team, for us to meet with you and get to know you and some of your passions and giftings and skills. And the next one of those actually is coming up on the 16th of February, so just in a few weeks. So if you've not been to a welcome meal yet, and you do kind of sense, actually, yeah, Lighthouse Church is my home. This is where I'm going to now kind of come to and engage with. This is my community. Then really encourage you to come along to that. But we thought through January, it's a good time to stop and pause at this moment to really share the breadth and depth of what happens at Capel Gweledigaeth, to get inspired and encouraged for the year ahead. To find those spaces that, like as Rach has spoken in the last 2 weeks and I speak today, hopefully there will be things that stand out to you that you're like, oh, wow, yeah, I really want to get involved in that. Yeah, I want to do that. You'll hear us use a phrase of all play, which is basically this idea of kind of like, let's not rely on 6 people to make church happen, but let's actually all engage, all play our part. Even the stuff that is a bit boring, let's play our part in the setup and the AV and the whatever else. Not that AV is boring, obviously, guys. But let's all play our part in all areas of church. And so we're going to talk, yeah, don't turn me off. No. Oh, dear. Don't mess with the AV, guys, when you're speaking. So we want to make sure that we are a community that is a movement. That as we move, the lights do come on, because we are an active church, a faith-filled, Jesus-following church. That means that we are asking people to get alongside and engage. And we do a lot. As we're about to go through, we do a lot that goes out into the community. But also, we do a lot as we go out into our everyday lives, wherever we are. We always want to be a church that learn and grow together in faith. So, just a quick backtrack. Week 1 and 2, Rach shared our following Jesus, our building community, and today we're going on to Loving Anglesey. So following Jesus, still in Iesu, is our upward call to apprentice under Jesus, to become more like him and do as he did. Then week 2 was Adeiladu Cymuned, building community. This is our inward reflection of how we engage with each other, support each other, and help each other to grow, having grace for one another. And then today we head out for Caru Môn, Loving Anglesey. From that place of the upward connection to Father God and the inward support and assurance of our community comes an outward flow of where we share our faith with others and love them as Jesus would have done and does. For us to be a group of people and individuals who are rooted and serving in our local community as the gathered and the scattered church. But why Love Anglesey? Like, surely there is something, and this is a genuine risk for us, which is why I say this. There is something about us to, well, you know what, I'm new in my faith journey, or actually I'm quite a long way into my faith journey, and I just need to focus on my personal growth for a moment. I just need to do the following Jesus, and that's it. Or maybe, yeah, Alan, you're right. I don't know everybody here, and that's a bit scary, because it is a bit scary. Not to know everyone deeply, not to know who they are. So actually, maybe we just need to pause for a moment and just kind of go, oh, actually, let's just build community a bit more. Let's get to a point where actually I really can know everybody who's turning up and what that looks like. And I mean, let's face it, you look at the church calendar, it is really easy to fill our lives with church activities. And increasingly, that is becoming the case because as we grow, there are more and more things happening. We could very easily go to something related to Lighthouse Church or our related kind of partners in faith and fill our calendar pretty much 6 days a week with church activities. Hopefully you've noticed from my tone and from what Rach shared the last 2 weeks, this really is not our aim. Yes, we are a busy church and you could fill your calendar quite easily, but hear me when I say, please don't. Okay? Yes, there is some about being part of community, there is something of a sacrifice of actually there are times, like Sue has just shared, about going out to the prayer meeting last night where it feels a sacrifice and we steel ourselves to go and do it. Yes, there are times when we might wake up on a Sunday morning and think, oh man, I just want to sit and have a coffee and not go to church today. But I encourage you to do it. There will be times with small groups where you think, oh, it's cold and dark and I don't want to, or I don't know anyone enough to be able to engage in a small group yet. Yes, you will look at the weekend away, you introverts like me, and think, 36 to 48 hours away with people. Oh my goodness, please, no. Is there anything worse? I get it, trust me. But I really, really encourage you with stuff like the weekend away. It is so important to just have that formative time of engaging in this faith-filled space, to physically get away with the intentionality of seeking after God as a community more. It is going to be a really powerful, formative moment for us as a community. So I really encourage you to sign on to the weekend away and get away. And as Dylan shared, if finance is the main blocking issue, come and have a chat with us and we will see how we can help. But yes, there is sacrifice involved with engaging with church. However, we also don't want to fill our lives with just church things. We want to be pursuing Jesus in every area of our lives. What I'm trying to say is that there are some growing pains as part of this community that means that the calendar can get very, very full very, very quickly, and we can very easily start to miss out on our Loving Anglesey approach because we are so busy with each other, which is a beautiful thing and takes sacrifice. But there is a balance to be had in the two. We've got to be careful we don't sway towards a consumer church where we just turn up, receive and leave, and are never truly known in community. Go and listen to Rachel's talk last week. But there is also a risk that we become insular. Quite nice, we're at a comfortable stage, and we don't continue to push out and love Anglesey and to share faith and love out with us. So why love Anglesey though? What is it? Why do we say this? Well, first of all, it's biblical. Jesus said, go and love Anglesey. Well, he didn't actually say exactly those words. That's my Ernest Morn paraphrase. But Jesus spent his time traveling around showing us how to live. Loving the poor, healing the sick, caring for the brokenhearted. Jesus did it. And he loved where he was and he loved the people in front of him. And he calls us to do it too. Like on the slide, we've got the Great Commission. So this is Matthew 28, 18 to 20. I'll just read from a few verses before where it says, then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Felly, ewch I wneud pobl o bob gwlad y disgyblion I mi, ei beiddio nhw fel arwydd ei bod nhw wedi dod I berthynas tad, a'r mab, a'r ysbryd glân. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Because we are called not to just love people so they become a Christian. Yes, we want them to get to know Jesus. Yes, we want them to have a personal relationship. But we are called to seek the peace and prosperity of this land too. So next slide is Jeremiah 29 verse 7. It says, also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. Jesus gave us a mandate, a call to go and make disciples who make disciples, to go and share about the good news of who he is and what that is. We are called to go and love Anglesey, to go and do this to the people in front of us like Jesus did. And then we are also called to pray for the peace and prosperity of this land. Like this Jeremiah passage was a word to a people in exile. They were slaves to this nation, but they were told to lay down roots, to work for the prosperity while there. Like an incredible challenge to pray for the prosperity of those who are oppressing them. And I don't think that we're in exile on Ynys Môn. So what would stop us from loving this land, this island? Because we are called to be faith-filled followers, living spirit-filled lives all week. Not just at church events, but all week, wherever we are. We are a people called to go and make a difference in our land. And I've already shared, for you, this might look like shining a light of Jesus into your everyday. At work, in the gym, at your Welsh class, with your family, a park run, on the golf course, in your band, walking the dogs, even at the pub. Wherever you are, we are called to shine the light of Jesus into those spaces. And I've cautioned against us not being able to do this because we are so busy in our everyday, we become so church-centric. But we want to be part of the church. The gathered church is so important. These opportunities to gather and worship together, small groups, to become known and rooted in community. Things like the weekend away and the rooted day, those moments where the corporate church gathers together is so important, but so is the scattered church, the everyday things. At the school gate, just as you're buying your coffee, wherever it is, to show the love of Jesus. And as the gathered church, yes, next slide, there we go. As the gathered church, of course, we increasingly are doing more and more collectively to come together to love Anglesey. Because the sum of all of our parts together means that instead of us just heading off in all different directions as the scattered church, actually there are moments where we can gather together to love Anglesey corporately. Because it maybe unlocks doors of ways that me, as Alan, in my day-to-day, might not be able to engage with. But actually corporately together, it means we can reach beyond our usual circles and gain access into new communities otherwise that might be hard for us to reach individually. So in 2025, you will see that we've got kind of 6 aims. Actually, if you look in the booklet, I've just looked in this, and there's 7, but that's because Rach nicked one of mine a couple of weeks ago. So there's these booklets on the side here. If you weren't here last week, these are our Vision Series booklets that just outline a little bit of each week, kind of these headlines like this, of what we are going after in a little bit of detail for you to be able to reflect on and take away, and some stuff for next week as well around our resource and giving Sunday next week. But in the Loving Anglesey, first of all, we want to develop and strengthen our outreach programs aimed at families in particular more this year. I'm sure that you're aware of the amazing Kirsty Williams, who's a member of our church staff team, who coordinates our regular outreach activities like Make Lunch and Little Beacons. Now, Kirsty is away today, but she's got a little video. So should we listen to Kirsty first?
Good morning, church. Borada. We can't be with you this morning as we've jetted off to Finland to enjoy the snowy climate. Just wanted to send a video to tell you all about Make Lunch. Make Lunch has been going since before COVID. We've served over 1,000 meals during COVID with our parcel delivery. And now we've managed to build up Make Lunch as a fun session for families. We have wellbeing activities, and most importantly, they have a hot meal. And this is really important because a lot of families struggle through the school holidays, having to feed their families on such a low income, but also having to battle against the rising cost of living as well. And we know families are having to choose between feeding the families and choosing heating. And so this provision is really important and crucial to our local communities. What we're doing at the moment is looking to grow the sessions. So last year we provided 6 sessions and a fun day. This year we're looking to provide 8 sessions. And that's because we want to be a bit more intentional about the support we offer our families. So instead of putting on a large fun day where we just capture a few of those families and are able to build relationships with them, we want to build relationships with all of the families that attend. On average, we have 20 families attend our sessions, and we feed between 70 and 90 people each session, and that's a healthy, nutritious, balanced meal. And we try and also provide them with an element of cooking as well. Last session we made sweets, they've made fruit kebabs before, they've made dips to go with their pittas, all matter of things, but getting their hands cooking, using fresh ingredients is all important so that they can take those skills home. So what we're looking at doing is we're looking at building our teams in every area. We really want to build our connections teams, which can provide that support during the session, but also capture those families that may need a little bit more extra support and flag those up to myself. We also would love to build our activities team and our kitchen team, a vital part of Make Lunch. We all love talking to our families, so the larger the team, the more able we are to chat and spend time with the families that attend. Thank you for watching the video, and if you feel you can help on our Make Lunch teams, then please get in touch. Remember, there's lots of different aspects of Make Lunch, and we'd love to have you on board. So get in touch with me and we'll make a date to have a panad and go through where you feel you'll be best fitted on our team. Take care.
Great. So that's Kirsty. She does an amazing job coordinating these events. And as she shared, this year for Make Lunch, we're going to continue with 1 event every holiday, every school holiday, but 3 in the summer this year. So there'll be 8 events in total. And during term time then, in between, there's the Peldrebach, the Little Beacons, free toddler group that is really well attended each week. Is amazing. That meets every Tuesday afternoon during term time. As Kirsty said, there'll be no fun day this year, which I know is a bit disappointing for some, but we kind of feel as though it's run its course for now, to be honest. I think it was fantastic as this large outreach event into the community, yet recognizing that the council have seen that it's actually a really good idea to do something like this, and now they organize and pay for it. And we can go along to theirs and stand there and share Jesus on a stand, but without all the organization and all the other bits of running our own. Works quite well, doesn't it? So there won't be a fun day this year, but we are going to be doing more Make Lunches during the summer to be able to engage directly more with those families on a deeper level. And additionally, Kirsty's going to be trained up a bit more this year with some of the partner courses that we can deliver, such as the Care for the Family course, or the TLJ Mental Health Awareness course that she ran last year, and things like the Cat Money course. So we're going to put a bit of resource into really helping equip Kirsty to pastorally care for this, more of a holistic approach to care for our families that we're engaged with. Which does mean that recognizing kind of that growth in not only what happens, but also her ability to be able to deliver these things, more of this holistic approach. We're looking to try to increase Kirsty's hours from 1 day, so 7.5 hours per week, to 10 hours per week from March onwards, to just help deliver this, recognizing that actually her role has expanded as these groups have expanded over the last few years. And then we do hope to engage with and develop more of these larger missional activities as the corporate church, as key points throughout the year. So kind of like Easter, summer, and of course Christmas, we go big with our events being very, very invitational. Like, we hope that every Sunday morning here is invitational for people to come along. We hope that there's things like, the things like the Morn Men and Capel Gweledigaeth events that are very invitational focused. Yet, we will do some larger kind of trying to hit as many people as possible with the message of Jesus at key points throughout the year. At the minute, these are just all ideas floating around, but more will come as we approach each time. Right, point 2 is this empowering and equipping the scattered church. Obviously, this is what I focused on at the start, because our heart is to see many more people encounter the love and truth of Jesus. And so to be able to help enable this, we will continue to focus on teaching and discipleship with practical application to equip people, you guys, to go and make disciples who make disciples in our everyday as the scattered church. We'll also continue to prioritize the Alpha Course as a tool for the scattered church to invite people in, friends, colleagues, family, into a safe space for those curious about faith and spirituality to ask questions and discover Jesus. Like, the aim is probably to run the next Alpha Course in the autumn term, but obviously if you know people that actually want to explore these big questions of faith, then come and have a chat. Come and have a chat with me or Rach or Phil, like overseas Alpha. Come and have a chat, and we would happily help equip and release as many Alpha courses as we can. But probably the next large one will be in the autumn term. Number 3 is working collaboratively to see community transformation. Now, we work with a lot of different organizations like Make Lunch, TLG with Make Lunch, like Pippin, who is a food support and awareness charity on Anglesey. There's a Cap Debt Centre, there's Acts 435. There's all of these different organizations that we want to continue to engage with and support to really make a difference in the local community. Like, although we think Lighthouse Church is great, and we have loads of energy and ideas to see our own projects grow and flourish, one thing that we are always keeping a check on is actually, are we making sure that we are being kingdom-minded as compared to empire building? So we always want to ensure that actually we just want the kingdom of heaven to become more and more known here. We want Jesus to become famous on Ynys, not Capel Gweledigaeth. Yeah? So through all of this, it is not about promotion, but it is actually setting our sights on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, and saying, no, we want your name to be known, Jesus. So how can we do this? Approaching it kingdom-minded, which means that we want to work collaboratively with other people and other churches as well. Like, we're really keen to make sure that actually our work with other churches across the island and beyond is really honouring and done really well. So each year, and we'll continue to do it this year, Rach and I invite some of the church leaders locally that we have connections with for an honouring meal, just to kind of go, you guys are great, this is a tough gig, we're behind you, let's keep going. So we'll do that again this year, as well as just having those connections and relationships across the island and beyond. And through key networks that we're part of as well, like the Pioneer Network, the New Wine Cymru Network, the Cantor Gymru, and this year as well, we're going to start to explore some new links with Cytyn. Just as ways to engage with the relational networks that we can equip and engage from, and also receive a bit from at times. And of course, a big collaboration that is happening at the moment is with Codimal, the worship evenings, with other churches around the area. And we'll continue to explore what the next steps of that. Like, you notice there's no dates on the James for the next ones yet, but that will be coming. And this unity movement of prayer and worship across the region and what that might mean for us and our role to support and equip other churches too. Number 4 is continue to explore and journey being a bridge in our community. Like, we've got a mandate as a church to be a bridge between cultures and languages, creating space for God to bring reconciliation and healing to our community and nation. So this will include bringing more bilingual elements into our corporate Sunday gathering, honouring everybody's primary heart language so that they can express that and flourish in faith. And of course, here that is very much the Welsh language and the English languages coming together for bilingual worship, to read scripture together. So we're going to explore more of that. Continue to support the Coffee Cymraeg initiative as well. That is being so well led by Ali and the support of Arwel as well around Coffee Cymraeg. And actually, there are so many people in this community that are learning Welsh. It's amazing. But there is such a passion for the language and to champion that. So we are as well going to this year look to kind of commissioning someone or just asking someone to be like, can you make sure that we keep on pursuing this well? Can you help us with translation and pronunciation in our leading as well? Can we really explore what it looks like to be a bilingual community, following and loving each other and Jesus? And then number 5, loving the world. Like, it's important for us to lift our eyes beyond our local area too. So we'll continue to partner with organisations like Tear Fund. We financially give to Tear Fund from our own giving that we receive. We give out, and one of those organisations is Tear Fund. But we also plan to commission a global church champion, and this basically means asking somebody to bang the gong of lift your eyes off yourselves to other people across the world, to help Lighthouse Church pray and support the needs of the global community. It can be so easy to focus on our local needs. Like, our mission statement is to literally love Anglesey, not even Bangor and Gwynedd, Anglesey alone, okay? So none of that over there. Once you leave the bridge, that's a no. But of course, it's so easy to become blinded to what's around us, and we forget to actually pray for our brothers and sisters in the global church. And so we want to make sure that we continually keep our eyes towards that and intercede and to pray for our global church. And then finally, number 6, our online presence, and especially our social media outreach strategy. Like, we've noticed the real key uplift and engagement as people will often go to the internet first with faith questions. Or more frequently, they'll go to AI now for what is the meaning of life, ChatGPT. But we'll continue to invest time in our social media and online presence, aiming to give an insight into what it's like to be part of Capel Gweledigaeth. So we want to make sure that it is a good representation of who we are. Phew. Right, so there's lots there, and I'm sure there is more I could have said, but hopefully that gives you a flavour of what's in the year ahead and inspires you to ask God afresh of what your role of Loving Anglesey is in this coming year. Hopefully everyone has had one of these vision booklets. They're on the side there. Do take one and reflect on it. And I will draw your attention to the back page, which is around our Resource Sunday, which is next week, because it's an opportunity for us all to consider how we might engage and support with this vision to follow Jesus, build community, and love Anglesey in the next year. Because one of the key elements of next week is our financial resource. And to make all of this happen, all of this stuff that happens, well, it requires money. And I'm not ashamed to say that. And next week, I will unashamedly be talking through with openness and accountability our finances as a church and the faith gap that we have for the year ahead. That is on the back here. Like, I know some people can find talking about money in public hard, especially when it is the church talking about money. It can feel even harder. So here is kind of a little pre-warning for next week. But don't let that be an excuse for you to disengage and, like, next week when there's 20 people here instead. I know that I shouldn't have said this bit. But here's prior warning, don't let that be an excuse to disengage. Hopefully next week, it will break down some of those barriers for you, and it'll be a bit different maybe from what you're used to or have seen it done before. But why not come and find out with an open heart and mind as we go into that next week?